Hello, and welcome to a very special episode of 100 Yards. We are talking baseball. It's the National League Championship. It is the Atlanta Braves versus the Dodgers. And I have got our expert on the Braves, Mr. Logan Landers. What's up, Logan?
Hey, how you doing, Jeremiah? How you doing this morning, buddy?
I'm doing excellent. Now, this is a very special episode. We want to make sure that we broadcast here live from Atlanta, and we want to make sure that everyone understands what's going on with the Atlanta Braves. So, of course, I brought my own personal expert on the Braves, you, to the show. So, Logan, give us the ups and downs about what's about to happen with this Braves versus Dodgers game. This is the National League Championship, but it's also being played in the bubble at Arlington, Texas. This is a very different season, one that we've seen, seasons cut shorter. We've seen, players have more opportunities to shine, but a shorter amount of time to do it. And I'm just really excited to see what's going on with this game. So, Logan, take it away.
Yeah, let's do it. So, like I said, I've been here before talking about the Braves a while ago, talked about how they were going to go into the season. That seemed like an eternity ago at this point, but we've made it finally. They did a 60-game season. They shortened the year. With everything going on, I knew they weren't going to be able to play 162 per usual, but they really did a good job trying to get every game as even as possible. And I'm glad that MLB got it figured out, because we knew that going into this year that a lot of teams were going to have to a lot of games that were going to have to be cut short or who knows what. But they finally did it. We made it to the postseason, and hey, that's just an accomplishment in of itself. But so we're going to be talking about the Braves. Like I said, we're based out of Atlanta, so that's our hometown team. We got to talk about them, but we're also going to talk about the Los Angeles Dodgers, who are going to be a formidable opponent throughout this series. So as you guys have seen throughout the regular season, the Braves have been on an absolute tear. They finished first in the NL East with a record of 35-25 to win the division. And then in the wild card series versus the Reds, they swept them 2-0. And against the Marlins in the division series, they won 3-0. So they are undefeated going into this series against the Dodgers. But let's not sleep on the Dodgers as well. They're also undefeated as well coming into this game. So this is a battle between two very highly contested opponents who are pretty much evenly matched on both sides of the ball. On offense, it's going to be an absolute star-powered game for the Braves and the Dodgers. We'll get into that in just a minute. But the pitching staff, I think, is what's going to be key, because pitching always wins championships. I know it's always fun to watch a lot of home runs, but man, sometimes that pitching staff is what really gets you to the World Series and gets you a title win. So without further ado, guys, let's talk about the Braves. Let's talk about what I liked about them, how they performed in the regular season a little bit, and how they've done this postseason as well. So as you guys know, the leader for the team, really, the team leader, the potential MVP, in my opinion, and a lot of people's opinions, is Freddie Freeman. Freeman had an absolute amazing regular season. He went on an absolute tear. He batted .341, which is very impressive. In the 60-game season, of course, you're not going to be able to hit as much. So he was second on the team with 73 hits. Marcell Ozuna, who was the very coveted free agent signing this past season, led the team with 77 hits this year. And that's another guy who's been really impressive is Ozuna. He came in this year on a one-year deal. Not really, fans didn't really know what to expect. He kind of was the consolation prize, because once Josh Donaldson signed with the Twins, it was like, okay, well, the Braves have to get someone to make up for that power. And with the NL adopting the DH rule, these pitchers aren't going to hit anymore. This guy just flipped in there perfectly, because his defense is pretty solid. But can he hit? He also led the team with 18 home runs on the season, and just an absolute knock the cover off the ball. He also led the team in RBIs as well, with 56, with Freeman right behind him at 53. But a guy who's kind of slept on the offensive lineup and who's really had a really good year is three guys I got in mind. Adam Duvall, who had 16 home runs this season with 33 RBIs. He's really been heating up the last couple of weeks, and he's looked really solid. He batted .237 on the year, but he only played in 57 games, with 47 of those being starting. Acuna, of course, and Albies are going to do their thing. They're going to be perennial all-stars for many, many years in this league. Dansby Swanson had finally a very solid year. He batted .274 in the regular season, 10 home runs. So he has a little bit of power there, but he's very solid on defensive end of the ball, which is what I think a lot of people thought he was just going to be kind of a one-trick pony. But he proved this year that he can hit a little bit, which I'm glad to see him finally coming around after being a former number one overall pick. But I think the main talking point for this Braves offense is just the absolute incredible season, not just postseason, but regular season of Travis d'Arnaud, the catcher that the Braves got for the Mets. The Mets released him earlier, I think, this year, and the Braves scooped him up. And boy, did he ever impress. He batted .321 on the year, 9 home runs, and 34 RBIs. This dude is an absolute monster. Kind of a hidden gem that not a lot of people had a lot of expectations for going into this year. But, man, did he ever, prove us wrong and really kind of make a name for himself. So I'm happy that he was able to finally get his moment to shine. I think he's 30 or 31, so he's not the youngest guy on the team, of course, but man, he really had a solid year, and I'm happy for kind of a good underdog story. That's always fun to look at. Underdogs are always going to be the best ones, the guys who kind of get picked over and who no one's kind of forget about. I'm glad that he was able to do his thing and get it going. But the main thing that the Braves need to do to win this series, they got to pitch as well as they have this whole season. Man, their pitching has been off the charts, especially in the postseason, but in the regular season, they were very solid as well. Of course, as everyone knows, Mike Soroka was out for got hurt, so that was our number one pitcher who was gone. He wasn't able to play, and everyone was thinking, well, the Braves, I don't know what they were going to do, because Cole Hamels as well. He was one of the kind of veteran leaders who they picked up in this offseason. I think he pitched in maybe 1 or 2 games. He wasn't able to play much at all. So that was kind of not the best idea to get him on the team, and it just didn't work out. He's an older player. You're going to expect some injuries, but it just didn't fall through. But, man, what's really impressed me is the Braves' young starting pitching. Ian Anderson, of course, he's been lights out since he's came up in the league. Right now, he's just absolutely wheeling and dealing. Max Fried is looking like a potential number 1 starter one day if he keeps it up. And then our bullpen has really kind of come into its own. Shane Green, Mark Melanson, all those guys have really been solid. Luke Jackson is just kind of he's been doing his thing. So it's kind of on the day for him. Either he's going to look really solid or he's going to have a rough night. But nice that they're all on and that the starting pitching and the relievers are looking good. Then it's looking like a good win for the Braves. But let's talk about the Dodgers real quick. Talk about how they've been doing in the regular season. And what can we expect going into the postseason with them? So as we know that they are loaded top to bottom with their team. I mean, there's Corey Seager, who hit .307 this year. Justin Turner also hit .307. Former MVP Mookie Betts, who's battling with Freeman to see who's going to win the MVP this year. He hit .292 with 16 home runs and 39 runs batted in. And then Will Smith, who had a 5-hit performance the other night. AJ Pollock as well hit .276. So this Dodgers team is really loaded. And how can we forget about Cody Bellinger? Hasn't had the best year. Batted .239 with only 12 home runs. So not the best year after an amazing 2019 campaign for him. But look, this guy is always going to be dangerous. It doesn't matter who he's facing up against. This guy is like I said, he's won MVP before. So we know that he is very talented. And that, who knows, he might be able to get hot this coming up against the Braves. Hopefully not for all the Atlanta fans out there, but I know all the Dodgers fans are hoping this guy can get it turned around and really kind of help them out. But for the Dodgers, let's talk about their pitching a little bit. Clayton Kershaw has been their ace for many years now, but we don't know how he's going to do in the postseason. We know that in big games, he sometimes doesn't come up as clutch as we think he should. They got Dustin May, the young man who had a .257 ERA this year. I'm looking here. It says they have a good bullpen with Jake McGee, Caleb Ferguson, all those guys, Brusdar Graterol, and all those guys are really kind of getting into their own. Walker Buehler as well has been solid for the Dodgers. He's really got they got a good mix of veteran and young stars on their team. And the veterans like Kershaw and Justin Turner, all them, they're going to those young guys. They're helping them get all this figured out because, look, the Dodgers have been a force in baseball for many years now. They won the division, I forget how many times in a row. I think it was like 7 or 8, just absolutely on top of the world in their division. But it seems like they can just never get to that final hump and get over to win the World Series. Could this be the year? Who knows? But that's enough about the regular season. Let's talk about just the postseason so far. Man, the story for the Braves, like I said earlier, has been Travis d'Arnaud. This dude has been lights out for the Braves on both sides of the ball. He is leading the Braves in all offensive categories in the postseason at the moment. He's batting .421 at the plate. Yeah, .421. He's got 2 home runs, 7 RBIs, and he's got 8 hits. So this dude has been phenomenal for Atlanta. I certainly did not see him doing this well. Going, I just thought he was going to be another pretty good signing. Do his job, hit around 250. But no, this dude has been phenomenal for Atlanta, and I'm so happy that he's able to kind of shine, get his moment to shine. Freeman and all of them, they're doing their stuff as well, but d'Arnaud's really the story here. But I think the real story that's kind of, making waves around the baseball world is just how good the Braves pitching is. They shut out the Reds. They did not allow any runs in their 2-game series against them. And then this last series against the Marlins, they won 3-0, or they won the series 3-0, and they only gave up 5 runs in total. So only giving up 5 runs in 5 games, and with a young starting pitching staff who not a lot of people predicted to be this solid, that is a win-win for Atlanta. So it's very impressive to see what these young guys have done. You just got to see how long they can hold up, though, because they might crack under the pressure. It's getting a little bit deeper into the season now. There's only 4 teams left, and being one of them. So if the Braves pitching staff really wants to solidify itself as a potential ace for many years to come, all of those guys, in Anderson, Max Fried, and Kyle Wright, those are kind of the big 3 guys there. They just got to keep battling. They got to keep figuring out how to fool hitters, because they've got some tape on them now. That's the thing. Going into, they're all very young. They haven't pitched too much. Fried's been the most experienced out of the bunch. But they're finally, hitters are finally getting to see what all they can throw and how they're trying to fool them. But it's going to be hard. I think it's going to be hard for those young guys to battle this Dodgers team, who is very solid on both ends of the ball. Like I said, they're no joke. The Dodgers are always going to be a threat. And I just don't know. It's going to be a great series. I fully believe that. But like I said, the Braves really got to get this pitching staff consistent. They've been doing great so far. It's just, can they hold up? Now, the Dodgers, let's talk about them. So they're doing pretty solid. They're doing pretty good. They're also undefeated. So Mookie Betts is doing his thing. Corey Seager as well. And then Bellinger's gotten his, he's getting rolling a little bit, which is always pretty scary to see. So we'll just have to see that pitching staff. My thing with that is, can Clayton Kershaw, can he be clutch? Can he finally, silence his doubters and prove to everyone that, this guy is a star still? He's getting a little bit older, but we've seen that this dude is an absolute Hall of Famer, no doubt. But can he get to that World Series that's been looming over his head his entire career? We'll just have to see. But I think for the Dodgers, you also need Julio Urias to kind of keep it going. You need Walker Buehler to get things, keep things going with the flow. And the thing about the Dodgers is, I think one of their Achilles heels could be Kenley Jansen. Because we've seen that he's kind of up and down when it comes to close games. Either he's going to look absolutely unhittable, or he might blow a lead or two. You just really never know. So we'll just have to see if that Braves lineup can get to the Dodgers pitching, especially early on in the game. They have a very good chance at winning this series. Now, like we said, like Jeremiah said in the beginning, this game is being played in Texas, of all places. So you have a team from Atlanta and a team from Los Angeles meeting up in Texas to an empty stadium. So there's no home field advantage by any means. So we'll just have to see how this goes. But if I had to pick a winner and how many games it's going to go, man, I got to go with the hometown team. I got to show them some love, man. I have the Braves going. How many games, though? Look, both these teams are undefeated. That's the thing. No one has lost. So someone's going to get their first punch to the mouth, and we're going to have to see how they're going to respond. Look, I don't know. The first game is tonight at 7:30, so we'll have to see. A very good game. All these guys are, I know, hyped for this to be going on and for them to finally get some baseball back. But look, my prediction, I got the Braves in 7. Yeah, it's not going to be easy for them, but I do have them going a whole full 7 games with the Dodgers. They definitely are going to be a tough task. And yeah, I got Atlanta winning. I see Jeremiah's back with you. Who you got rooting for this one, man?
You know, I've got to go with Atlanta, the home team, just because I'm repping Atlanta hard. I got to say, you know, to all my people out in LA, I know y'all are going to bring it. Shout out to you, Reed. I know that you'll be watching those games. And I personally, when it comes to baseball and it comes to a championship like this, I want to see them go for 7. I want to see them go for the full 7. I want to see them all take it to the ends. First off, this is a unique season, and I think going 7 is going to do really great for baseball in a general way because we need baseball and we need to see them play, and we want to see the top teams really compete it out. And just like you were saying, both teams are coming into this undefeated. So somebody's got to lose, and somebody's going to win. But with it being the Braves and the LA Dodgers like this, I think we're going to at least see a strong game. So, I mean, it's got to go 5 in my head for sure. And, you know, we know it's going to go 5. But if we see it go to 7, I think that, you know, I think the Braves are going to edge it out. That's my final thought on that.
Hey, hopefully they can get back to the World Series. It's been quite a while for the Braves, so hopefully they can get past the Dodgers, who are no joke at all, and they can, you know, get back to the World Series. But we'll see.
Absolutely. Well, if everybody that's watching this, if you like what we're doing here on 100 Yards, this is our very special baseball report. We decided to bring you what's going on with the Atlanta Braves since we are a hometown institution here in Atlanta, Georgia. So we wanted to bring that to you. But make sure that you tune into us and listen to us and watch us however you want. Right now, we are broadcasting live over Facebook, Twitch, and YouTube. But we also have our daily podcast. And our podcast is brought to you by the Believe Podcast Network. And it comes to you through either Apple. You could go through us through Spotify. And every week we bring you previews, we bring you history videos, we bring you interviews with the legends of the game, and our entire amazing team here at 100 Yards of Football, which is Vincent, Mr. Football Turner. He's the encyclopedia of football knowledge. We've got 2-time All-American, first-round draft pick from 1981, Bobby Butler, who was also a Florida State great and an Atlanta Falcon great for over 10 years himself. We've got Kevin Bull Jones, who's our coaching expert. He's an amazing coach here in the Atlanta metro area. He's been a Georgia prep coach that's played with some of the greatest coaches in the industry. We're going to be getting him with some amazing interviews. I wish I could announce some of those interviews right now because you'll love it. Yeah, and we've got our co-host with the most, Mr. Logan Landers, a man who brings you all of the knowledge. He brings you amazing guests from around the podcasting world and from the sportscasting world. And you got myself, producer Jeremiah Long. I do all the technical setups. I'm a big Tennessee Vols fan, so that's usually when I come on the air to really talk. And so I, help and make sure that we're broadcasting live. Of course, Mr. Landers here, we also do the technical setup. And then besides our baseball preview, we've been bringing you a quick basketball preview with Coach Brian Spencer and Will Witherspoon to make sure that you just know what's going on in all of the sports world. Because we are 100 Yards of Football Sports Talk Radio, but we're sports fans. That's why we come to you each week. So let us know what it is that you'd like to see, and make sure that you check out the podcast over on Spotify. Just look up 100 Yards of Football, and look at our podcast over on Apple. Again, just look up 100 Yards of Football. You'll see this image appear with the Believe Podcast Network down in the bottom right corner there. And we're going to be having game previews coming out this evening. Plus, we have just great shows coming out all through the week. So make sure you tune in. Logan, how have you liked having the podcast out there now?
Man, this podcast has been great. We've kind of reached a new audience, I think. It's been very solid to be kind of on a new platform, because we've been doing our thing on Facebook for a while now. Like I said, we've been broadcasting live on YouTube for a good amount of time. But yeah, the podcast has really kind of helped us out and helped us grow. So I'm very pleased to be doing that. We've only been doing it for under a month also, and we've been getting some pretty good numbers over there. I'm glad to see all you guys are going over there and checking it out. But yeah, if you enjoy what we're doing over there, be sure to leave us a review. That would greatly appreciate us. Let us know what you like about the show, what you want on the show in new episodes. Just let us know, guys. We're always here for you. We're always listening to our fans, and we're always going to be doing what you guys want us to do. Absolutely. And speaking of, always listening to our fans, we do always listen to our fans.
And in that same regard, make sure that we get one of our best commenters ever for most of our shows, Timothy Nelson. He said you didn't introduce me. Of course, man.
There you go.
Timothy Nelson, we know you're in here, man, and we appreciate every single comment. We appreciate all of your shows. And we definitely appreciate as much love as you've been given to our show and to our new podcast.
Yeah,
so thanks for our fifth Beatle. So for coming to you live and direct from Atlanta is myself, Jeremiah Long, the producer, and our host, Logan Landers. This has been your Braves and LA Dodgers preview, and we'll be bringing you more here a little bit later in the week. See you guys then.